Hello again, happy Wednesday. Here's the scene up in the big country, warm and breezy ahead of our next cold front that's on the way. Temperatures across West Texas, a lot of places still in the 80s, but still a few places in the lower 90s at this point. 89 here in San Angelo, as well as up in Abilene. Roby, a little farther north, is that ultimate warm spot right now at 95 degrees. A little to our West Midlands, still holding on to 90 even, but those coolest temperatures along the I-10 line, where Junction as well as Mason, those coolest spots down to 81 degrees at this point. We're going to keep up this trend of warm temperatures, breezy winds overnight with mostly cloudy skies as temperatures looking to get into the 60s. A few places farther west could get into the upper 50s like Midland and Garden City, getting down to 59. But the farther east you looking at more of the low to mid 60s, and then farther east some places even only getting to the upper 60s tonight. Mason, Brady, as well as Brownwood and Comanche going to be pretty close to that 70-degree mark, only getting down to 68 degrees tonight, and then 66 degrees looking to be the low in Abilene, as well as here in San Angelo. Tomorrow, looking at another round of a potential severe weather threat that we'll talk a little bit more about in a second. That cold front starting to move through the area, so depending on where you are is going to depend on what the high temperature is. Here in San Angelo, could still look to get up to the upper 80s at 88 as that high. By Friday, wrapping up the week, and more of the upper 70s as we start to feel that cold front. Saturday could see a little bit of a rebound in the lower 80s, but by Sunday, going to see those temperatures getting a bit cooler again that we'll talk about in a second. Now, as far as tomorrow's severe weather potential, going to be a lot farther east, so San Angelo as well as Abilene not even included in the outlook. If they see any rain develop, it'll likely just be a general thunderstorm, not looking at those severe weather parameters. But once you get into locations like Junction, Brady, and Ranger, they're under that level 1 risk, and then Comanche getting into the Dallas area under that level 2 risk. So the main impacts continue to be strong wind gusts and large hail. Now, all of this in response to this dry line that has developed to our west. That's going to start to make way for that cold front to move through after midnight, starting to impact portions of the panhandle. By Thursday morning, starting to see that cold front entering the big country. By lunchtime, still kind of getting into the northern Concho Valley, just moving south of that I-20 line. And by dinner time, still hasn't even made it through most of the area. The front's going to be moving pretty slow tomorrow. It won't quite move south of the area. And so overnight Thursday into Friday, those better chances for rain going to be towards those eastern counties. Now, behind that, like I said, going to see cooler temperatures on Friday. Will rebound to the lower 80s for a bit on Saturday. But Sunday's bringing that next chance of rain and temperatures in the mid 60s. We'll kick off next week in the mid 70s before getting back around that 90-degree mark by next Tuesday. Then we'll have another cool down coming to put us back into the 70s by this time next week. Back to you, Esmeralda.